Hello, I am alive, and I should have shared this over a year ago, but better late than never, I guess. There's a lot to explain. So, yeah, I'll try to explain what you're looking at, but this project has a long and confusing timeline, and also a tragic story. So this video you're watching right now, this was made last year. And the voiceover I'm doing now, this is only my second time rewatching this recently. So I'm also kind of reacting to it live. So I had the idea to do a segmented Half-Life run in 2020. And I worked on it for a few months during that summer, and I put in 137 hours of work. And then I stopped. So some issues I had back then were that I was only on a 1440p monitor, and I was also recording with OBS, and there were some issues there. And this was also my older PC, and I had some FPS drops, which were kind of demotivating to have happen in, a project that I'm trying to get as perfect as possible. And then what you're watching right now, I made a fatal mistake in this room by grabbing that lantern right there, because I realized, oh, this is kind of fun. I can grab the lantern here and still make it in time, because there's a script right there where you have to wait 7.7 seconds, I think, after hitting the lantern trigger until you can leave, or else you just screw up everything. So I waited that time. I thought I was fine, but I'm actually at 0.89 move speed right now. And I did not notice this for a very, very long time. And all these segments were extremely fast. Everything you're seeing here, everything was done better than my 2020 run. So I thought everything was fine. But I guess I did kind of feel it was kind of hard to beat some of the segments from when I first did the project. Oh my gosh, this is so fast. I don't have time to say everything. This took like 7,300 attempts right there. I knew it was possible to do it that fast a lot earlier, but I missed the door, so I had to regrind that for days and days until I got it that fast again. And I also had to fill the lantern there because I thought I had a lantern that I could just use for the whole run. I just cannot catch a break. But this is still, I still didn't know my move speed was gimped at this point. Everything I think I had to do this room in one segment or something crazy like that. That was really difficult. Oh, storage is also... Okay, after storage, I'll actually catch a break and I'll be able to explain some more things. Let's just watch storage. So it's really nice having the lantern for a dark map like this. And here, had to use up a little bit of distance. That was a pretty hard clip. I'm pretty sure the routes that I've used so far are optimal, but I do... If any of you have any ideas for route improvements, please let me know. Because, yeah, I'm forced to just call this a giraffe run at this point. This is not even a valid run, because right now, this is when I realized that I screwed up. I just modified the save file to give myself full movement speed so I could play through the rest of the maps and kind of plan out the route and all that to get an idea of how fast I could do things, and also have a reference that I could play against to make sure that I have kind of a baseline to play against. But yeah, everything you're seeing right now, this was done, I think, last April or May. And I put in another 179 hours into it. So this project has over 300 hours put into it already. Yeah, most of those 179 hours were before storage. What you're seeing right now, this is all really sloppy stuff. I was putting in thousands of attempts per segment before, but now it's basically the first try I get. Oh, this route, I think I got this idea from Sariga back in 2020. So something like that could be pretty optimal. But it's hard to do that really fast. And here, oh, okay, apparently you could grab that through the gap. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of the routes that I used here. So, yeah, it really sucked that day that I realized that my move speed was actually gimped. It was such a rookie mistake for me not to check that right after leaving old archives, because I knew that was a thing. So, yeah, my silly ass didn't check that. So, okay, Prison South. I think this is another flashback I have to hit. So the annoying thing is the category I'm trying to play here, which I basically just made up, is I don't want to do any discontinuous stuff with the save load. So I don't want to abuse any mechanics that happen just because of the save load. So right here, I actually did a segment and I modified the save file to continue the flashback where it left off. To do that, I had to cut the audio file and match it up basically perfectly. So I'll be doing that throughout. You know, if I were to actually turn this into a run, I would do that a lot more, just so I'm allowed to make segments during a flashback without unintentionally doing a dialogue skip. Yeah, I just have a really bad track record with finishing large projects, and I tend to bite off more than I can chew. And I haven't talked about this with many people before, but I have a project dating back to 2017 that I put in 454 hours into. And maybe I'll talk about that one day and show it, but it's kind of obsolete at this point as well. Yeah, what's tricky about these big projects is that my interests can just change like the wind, and life happens, and to finish these I really need to consistently put in work for months or even years. And I also only want to do it if I genuinely enjoy doing it. Like, there's no point finishing a project just because I was committed to it at one point, and there's no point finishing it just for the sake of it. And it's only worth doing it for the journey, because it's like, it really is just about the journey and not the destination, for me at least. I realize that for you, the audience, all you get to see is the end result if I ever get there. A lot of fun segments here. Sewers is just kind of a fun map where you could, I'm sure there's more boosts you could do. So I'll be putting a lot more time into doing route improvements and stuff. But these are just routes that I just very quickly mocked up. And then I just did them first try, and then just took that segment just so I could rush through these maps and get a baseline here. But there's not too much to improve, but the final time I think is like 11 minutes, 43 seconds, something like that. I'm hoping to get sub 11 if I redo this really well. So I recorded, what we're seeing right now is recorded using DxTory. Before this I was using Bandicam, both doing lossless recording. And I think if you're doing a task or a segmented project, you really ought to be using a lossless codec, because you're doing further editing. And my earlier segmented runs were recorded at pretty poor quality, and then I had to edit them, re-encoding them a second time, and then putting them on YouTube and encoding it a third time. And the result is just not that pretty. So I've come a long way since then. And it's kind of fun looking back and seeing how the quality of my videos have changed. And it's just really weird, because it's almost hard to believe that the game was actually rendered at full quality in front of me. And I played all of that. I did all of that. But it's just that disconnect caused by the poor quality. It just feels really weird. It's kind of like when we're looking at photographs taken back in the day that are black and white. And obviously color existed back then, but those monochrome images just make things feel more distant and removed. And, you know, if we see a colorized image, it makes things more relatable, but it's also kind of weird. Okay, anyway, back to the run, instead of going off on tangent. So, okay, transept, I think a route like this could be fairly optimal if done a little better. I don't think counterclockwise would be any better. I'm pretty sure you just want to go clockwise here. And of course I'm not allowing myself to reload warp. I really struggled to pick up that orb piece. But yeah, please give me your route ideas. I really want some... if you give me a new idea, and I'm able to improve this run even more, that's more motivation for me to pick this up again. So yeah, right now I'm kind of at a crossroads where I'm kind of itching to restart this project, but realistically it's kind of unlikely that it'll get done, because like right now I feel like I might have the time for it. But even if I do work on it, it's still going to be a very long time until I could complete this project up to my standards. And yeah, it just takes a while. And another, a quick PSA is make sure you back up your data. Especially if you're making projects like these that span years. You don't want to go years and have the project almost done and then you lose your data and that's just years of work gone. So even if you're not doing projects like these, I'm sure you all have valuable data you want to keep. So just, it's something that we all know we should do, but I feel like not a lot of people actually do that.
How you would face the orb. I will grant you another chance to redeem yourself. You can wait. Thank you, friend.
Yeah, when I redo this run, if I redo the run, I'm not going to have a lantern. So, which is like, the lantern kind of blocks a bit of the view, so that's a positive. And also the lantern creates this yellowish tint on everything, which I am not used to seeing at all. I'm used to Amnesia just being dark and blue, if anything. And I like how they just use like a really low resolution PNG for the shadow of the lantern, or like the ring of light around. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Don't do that. Stop it. You are ruining it.
I hope you enjoyed watching this run anyway. So if the full run never actually gets made, then at the very least you will get to see something that resembles what the final result will look like.
It was my greatest triumph.
I've kind of missed speedrunning, and every now and then I'll just look back at my old work and get up to date on the new world records and stuff.
You think I was afraid fleeing Brennenburg? Huh. Quite
Maybe this is gonna be my comeback. Maybe I'll pick up this project again or some other segmented thing. The good thing about Half-Life is that I don't need to do a task of it, because I feel like I could do a lot of things in real time, whereas the normal Amnesia, without the high jumping and the fast movement, you really have to do a lot of like box clips and box jumps, and even that might be helpful in Half-Life, but it's a lot less of an issue because you move so fast to begin with. So I feel like to get an optimal run in the normal game, you really have to do a task, whereas the gap is a lot lower in segmented. Or maybe I'll start tasking. I actually haven't tried any of that. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes about. But yeah, thanks for watching.